Jammu and Kashmir, a quaint tiny hamlet, was said to be the stage of the appearance of Baba Gambhirnathji, who was not only to be the head of the Nath Sampradaya, but also one of the greatest saints India has produced. The time frame, middle of the 19th century, an educated middle-class family brings a child into this world. This is no ordinary child, but one such spiritual giant who would tower over the consciousness of the people of his country even after centuries of his demise. History will bear witness to the selfless acts performed by this Mahatma to alleviate the sufferings of humanity. From his childhood, he began to display a keen intellect and a special interest in the arts, learning bhajans and the sitar, displaying great talent. Always helpful to the poor and the needy, respectful to the young and old, rich and poor alike, he gained tremendous trust and confidence from people of all segments, ranging from the widows to the poor farmers. A crematorium lay cradled in the valley near his village. Gambhirnath, then only a young boy, was inexplicably attracted to the Mahasmashan. Flocks of sannyasis and aghoris established their asanas in this crematorium for brief periods, and the boy loved to serve them and spend time with them. He listened to their discussions, observing their rituals. He watched them go into samadhi. Sometimes he would just sit at their feet in silence, his being lost in search of some higher unknown realm. There was one particular yogi who frequently made this crematorium his abode. He was a Yogi Raj and left a deep impression on Gambhirnathji's psyche. The boy requested this saint to grant him Diksha, but was told in return that his guru is one called Baba Gopalnathji, the Mahant of the Gorakshanath Mutt. His heart beating with elation, Gambhirnath lost no time in leaving this picturesque hamlet and his family behind to surrender himself at the lotus feet of Baba Gopalnathji. He was readily accepted in the Nath Sampradaya and was inculcated in the Aghor segment. He was officiated as a sannyasi, which took self-expression as a newfound dedication and vigor, which empowered this young boy to rise to unthinkable heights and become the spiritual powerhouse we know as Yogivar Gambhirnathji. Thakur Das Baba, the head of the Nanak Panthis, greatly revered Gambhirnathji. So also did the Buddhists of Tibet and Prabhupada Vijay Krishna Goswami, a Bhakti Yoga adept from the lineage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, Goswamiji was Baba Gambhirnathji's ardent bhakta and learned much from him of occult sadhanas and siddhantas. Nabukumar Bishash, a disciple of Goswami Mahashaya, has penned down a fantastic account of the divine love that permeated the hearts of these Mahatmas. The love for the cosmos, for the seas, the skies, the sentient beings and creatures who inhabit this world, from man to a tiny ant. We were resting in the Akash Ganga ashram. Stillness is omnipresent. The rays of the full moon cascade down in all their brilliance. Sometimes, at about 1:30 or 2 in the night, we would hear the enchanting sitar, a deep melodic voice accompanying it, the divine bhajans. It captivated us. Goshaiji would say, listen carefully. That is the divine voice of Baba Gambhirnathji. So sweet is his voice that it leaves me in ecstasy. Oftentimes, Goswamiji would just run out, as if in a divine trance, to return after a couple of hours, his eyes ablaze with divine radiance. One day Thakur tells us, Baba is the greatest lover of the divine and a Mahashaktiman Mahatma. There is none quite like him under the Himalayas. So many vicious beasts live in the mountains, tigers, snakes, other predators, but none will ever hurt him. they can sense his Shakti, the divine power emanating in all its magnificence through his being. Miracles performed by Baba Gambhirnathji have been recorded by a majority of his disciples. For instance, we have the story of Akku and how Baba brought him back from the clutches of death. Akku had become a corpse, but Baba's touch and some Ganga Jal from his kamandul revived Akku's lifeless cadaver. Lions and tigers would often saunter up to sadhus and sannyasis in the ancient caves of the Himalayas, surprising them and more often than not consuming them. One such lion made his way to Baba Gambhirnath's thili while he sat in conversation with some disciples. Watching this beast make his way to them, some of his disciples sprinted away in fear. The lion could have easily followed and devoured them, but he seemed lost in Baba Gambhirnathji's eyes. Behaving in the most unforeseen manner, the beast walked up to Baba, rolled over and submitted to him. Baba began to pet him, spoke in an endearing tone, as one would speak to their pet cat. Once at the Prayag Kumbh Mela, on an ill-fated day, a dispute breaks out between the Bairagi Nagas, militant ascetics, and the yogis. These Nagas are like the sannyasi Nagas and earned their living as soldiers and traders. These Bairagi Nagas were often Sudras and warrior ascetics who made their living as traders and mercenary soldiers. The argument got heated, and these vicious Nagas attacked the yogis and other sects, drawing blood on this sacred land. Their offensive attack took the lives of many innocent sannyasis. Baba Gambhirnath was positioned in his tent, not far from the crime scene. He was lost in deep samadhi, and the news of this massacre had not reached his ears. Ultimately, the Nagas, armed with trishuls and chimtas or prongs, reached the very cave of Baba Gambhirnathji. The aggressors found themselves standing in front of the Mahatma, blissfully unaware of the gross affair which plagued the holy men congregated there. There was one disciple who was hiding behind Baba. Seeing the eventuality of the situation, he screamed in Baba's ears, "Baba, please awaken. The Nagas are here to kill us." Slowly Baba opened his eyes, the blissful look on his face illuminating the smile which played lightly on his lips. He spake, "Vatsa, Shanti karo, Shanti karo." Within split seconds, the animosity of the Nagas evaporated like the morning mist, and the icy hatred in their hearts thawed by the warmth of Baba's words and penetrated their psyche like shafts of sunlight. The trishuls and chimtas fell on the road with a dull din, discarded. All the yog vibhutis and supernatural siddhis were a part of Baba Gambhirnath's being. He wanted to show the common man his more humane side, his simplicity, his honesty, his service to his fellow beings. He was also known to be strict when some shishya slacked off. He was always there to guide them on the path of discipline and devotion. Sultry Udaipur is the setting. Our protagonist, Baba Gambhirnath, is in his way to some pilgrimage spot nearby. The night is upon the congregation of sadhaks and sannyasis of different sampradayas. They decide to camp for the night. The time of the year is monsoon, heralded by dust and thunderstorm. Torrents of rain lash out at the congregation, and everyone goes helter-skelter. The rains ease up, and the sadhus gain visibility at a distance. And that day, they witnessed an awe-inspiring miracle. Baba Gambhirnathji had remained in his asana, and his asana, the area around it, remained dry. No water had fallen over his head or near him. This incredible sight, which was witnessed by many, began to travel far and wide. cementing the position of this Mahayogi in the long line of illustrious saints who are like priceless pearls which remain hidden in the depths of the spiritual ocean until discovered. Massive amounts of people began to flock his ashram. The numbers kept increasing by the day. Whomsoever came in contact with him, be it a sannyasi or a grihasthi, the divine ananda radiating from his body began to catalyze a change in their very being. Even animals could not escape his divine attraction. They received their fair share of love from Baba. Every evening at the designated time of Baba's stroll, many dogs and cats would gather at the ashram. They strutted along with Baba, following close at his heels. Later on, as was customary, Baba would sit at the patio. All the dogs sat at his feet, and the cats loitered around him. Baba allowed their overt display of affection, even though they would sometimes be filthy, their bodies caked in mud. On watching this spectacle, everyone could guess that any attempt to shoo these creatures away would only hurt Baba, so they remained, pressing their muddy faces and paws at Baba's feet. Baba Gambhirnathji was known to feed rats and mice with his own hands. The blessed rodents nibbling away at the shredded roti offered lovingly by him. The next story describes how the physical plane and the supernal realm came together as a playground for Baba's Leela. Baba not only bestowed his kripa or benevolence on the living, but the dead, due to past karmas and samskaras, also could seek refuge at Baba's feet and were blessed by him. There was a couple who decided to take Diksha from Baba Gambhirnathji. They waited with bated breath to meet Baba at the end of the year. But fate had ordained a harsher course for them, and the wife died, leaving her physical body with a deep want to receive Diksha from Baba. The husband, however, did have the blessed chance of meeting him, and Baba agreed to initiate him. This man was so deeply and spiritually attached to his wife that taking Diksha without her was unthinkable, knowing that it was her one last wish. So he decided to plead with folded arms, requesting repeatedly that Baba also consider giving his departed wife her long-awaited initiation. His implorations continued each day. A professor by the name of Ajay Kumar Bandyopadhyay writes a memorable account of this incident. Yogi Raj tried to gravely deter the man by saying that it is not an easy feat to summon a ghost and initiate it. In fact, it has not been done before. Obviously, due to some previous Rinabandhana, this man did not give up hope. He was sure that his future guru was an adept of the highest kind and could do anything, including create universes at the blink of an eye, as Bijoy Krishna Goswami had eloquently put it. Baba Gambhirnath was moved by the man's devotion and love for his wife and his unfaltering belief in his guru. On the designated day, 2 asanas were placed next to one another. The husband took a seat. Baba instructed him to close his eyes. He began to drift off to an unknown place. He heard his guru recite a mantra in his ears, and his whole body vibrated like atoms in light. At that moment, he felt his wife's presence. He sensed her energy. So elated was she, as finally she had received her mantra, not in life, but in death. It will aid her in her next incarnation if she manages to continue her sadhana in the astral world. Death is not an end. It is a journey from one state of consciousness to another. The husband was aware of the extent Baba had gone for him, and gratitude for his guru brimmed in his heart. What benevolence! Although he was sure, but just to hear the affirmation from his guru's lips, he asked Baba whether his wife had indeed received her initiation. Baba replied yes. To initiate a preta is an unheard of thing, and the man's soul stirred with the power of love. of divine gratitude as he surrendered himself completely unto his Guru, his head bowed with reverence and humility. Baba Gambhirnathji's immortal words, which he kept repeating to his disciples, were Vishwas Rakhna or Vichar Karna, meaning always be steadfast in your faith and never fail to use the powers of discrimination in this world.